Have you ever felt like you're talking to a brick wall when you're using an AI? You ask for something super specific and you get back something, well, completely useless. The truth is, the magic of AI isn't just in the model, it's in the question. The quality of the answer you get depends entirely on how well you design the question in the first place.
So let's get into it. We're going to cover 5 key things today. We'll start with that nagging problem everyone has. Then we'll see how prompting went from just a simple chat to, honestly, a real engineering craft. We'll also tackle the huge challenge of getting perfectly formatted data, look at some amazing real-world uses, and then finally, we'll talk about what this all means for the future of working with AI.
All right, let's kick things off with a problem that I am positive everyone listening has run into. You've got this incredibly powerful AI ready to go, but you just can't get it to give you what you actually want. Seriously, think about it. You ask for a detailed summary and you get back one vague paragraph. You ask for data in a specific format and it just gives you a giant wall of text. It is so frustrating, right? Well, that frustration is exactly what we call the prompting problem. And this slide, this explains it perfectly. On the left, you've got this super vague prompt. Tell me about cars. The AI has no clue what you really want. But look at the right. That's a structured prompt. It's not just a question. It's a blueprint. It tells the AI exactly what to find: the make, the model, the 0 to 60 time, and where to find it. This is the huge shift from just having a conversation to actually giving instructions. So how did we get from asking simple questions to crafting these complex blueprints? Well, the whole act of asking has evolved into a genuine craft, a discipline that we now call prompt engineering. You can really see the progression here. We all started with zero-shot prompting, which is basically just asking a question and, hoping for the best. Then we got a little smarter and moved to few-shot prompting, where we give the AI a couple of examples to show it what we mean. And that's led us to where we are now, using these structured frameworks, which are like handing the AI a full job description. And that brings us to a really crucial technique: few-shot prompting. This is where we stop treating the AI like a search engine and start treating it more like a student. By giving it examples of the input and the exact output we want, we're actively teaching it and guiding its logic. It's a total game changer for getting reliable, consistent results. And check out how sophisticated a modern prompt has become. It's not one sentence. You're giving it a role, a specific task. You're adding specifics and crucial context. And most importantly, you're including examples. This isn't a casual chat anymore. This is a command brief you're giving to an intelligent agent. But it gets even crazier. We can go beyond just telling the AI what to do and actually start telling it how to think. There's this technique called chain of thought prompting that literally instructs the model to think step by step and explain its reasoning. And just adding that one little phrase has been shown to dramatically boost its accuracy on really complex problems. Okay, so we can make the AI a better thinker. But what about one of the biggest headaches for anyone trying to automate things? Getting an AI to spit out perfectly formatted data, like JSON, every single time. This is a massive, massive challenge. Because when you're building an application, you need data in a predictable structure. If an AI misses a single comma or a bracket in a JSON output, your whole program can crash. The stakes are really high, and it's a problem prompt engineers have been trying to solve for a while. So, researchers have tested a bunch of different styles to see what works best. You've got JSON, which is powerful but super strict. You've got YAML, which is a bit easier for us humans to read. And then there's this newer style called hybrid CSV/prefix. Instead of all those complicated brackets, this method just gives the AI a simple prefix for each piece of data, like name, age, city, and then asks for the value. It's a way simpler format, which makes it much harder for the AI to mess up. So which one actually works best? Well, a recent study using GPT-4o to pull structured data out of things like stories, receipts, and medical records gave us a really clear answer. This chart shows just how accurate each style was. And yep, the winner is the hybrid CSV/prefix style with an 82% success rate. By being less rigid than JSON, but way clearer than just asking for a list, it turned out to be the most robust way to get consistently accurate data from the model. That is a huge improvement. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how is this advanced prompting actually being used out in the wild to solve real complex problems? Okay, take a look at this. Now, this diagram might look a little complicated, but the core idea is actually super simple. This system lets anyone ask questions of a complex database using just plain English. You don't need to know how to code in SQL or anything, you just ask. And the magic that makes it all work? A series of very carefully engineered prompts. So this whole thing works in 3 stages, and each stage is powered by a structured prompt. First, a prompt takes your casual question and transforms it into a precise query the database can understand. Second, another prompt takes that new query and writes the actual Python code needed to find the answer. And finally, the code runs and you get your answer. It's a complete automated workflow built entirely on the architecture of asking. And it's not just for data queries. Another incredible use is cleaning up messy data. One study took on the challenge of fixing garbled text from badly scanned documents. Using a structured prompt framework they called CO star, which stands for Context Objective, Style, Tone, Audience, and Response, they got an AI to clean up that messy text with an absolutely mind-blowing 98.8% accuracy. It's basically salvaging valuable data that would have otherwise been useless. All of this is pointing to a massive fundamental shift in how we need to think about working with AI. It's becoming less about just talking to it and more about building with it. And this right here is the biggest shift of all. We're moving beyond trying to write one single perfect prompt. We're now in the era of context engineering. That means we're designing the entire information environment that the AI works in, what data it can see, what tools it can use, and the step-by-step process it follows. I absolutely love this quote. It says that context engineering stops being prompt gymnastics and starts looking like systems engineering. Prompting is no longer about finding a clever trick or a magic phrase. It's becoming a serious discipline that looks a whole lot more like traditional engineering, with processes and components and testing. This diagram shows exactly what that new discipline looks like. It's not a one-and-done process. It's a continuous loop. You deploy your AI system, you gather feedback on how it's doing, you evaluate its performance with real metrics, and then you use that data to improve every part of the system, including the prompts themselves. So, the big takeaway from all of this is pretty clear. Getting amazing results from AI isn't just about what you say in a single chat box anymore. It's about the entire structure you build around that interaction. The architecture of the conversation is now just as important, if not more important, than the conversation itself. And that leaves us with a final question to think about. The term AI whisperer always sounded like some kind of mysterious art form. But as we've just seen, this is quickly becoming a science, an engineering discipline. So the question we all need to ask ourselves is, are we content to just be whisperers, or are we ready to become the architects of these new intelligent systems?